What a revolting development this is. It's time for Must Have Seen TV, the podcast dedicated to the sitcoms of the 20th century from I Love Lucy to News Radio. I'm your TV guide, Barb Hardly, and I'm also a senior reporter producer for Decider.com. This week I'm joined by Ethan Kaye. Hello, Ethan.
Hello. Hi, Barb.
Hi. So let's talk about that.
Well, it's a little change in format from the last time we recorded, but it's a welcome one. You look great.
Yes, so I'm a drag queen now. Let's get that out, listeners. A lot has changed in the year. I don't know how long it's been, honestly, and I'm very embarrassed and sorry. So yes, I'm a drag queen now. My drag queen name is Barb Hardly. I'm still hosting the show as Brett White, I think. Ask me questions, Ethan. I don't know where my brain's at. Everyone knows Ethan. He's been on the podcast a bajillion times.
I love going on the podcast, and I especially love that I have the level of input to say, hey, Brett/Barb, do you want to do a completely forgotten about yet extremely monumentally expansive sitcom from the 1950s?
Yes.
And Barb's like, yeah,
yes.
I will take that suggestion. I'll take that note.
It is so I've been a drag queen for 5 weeks, so I'm still getting used to being called Barb when I'm in drag. And listeners, I am in drag right now. I am in full drag. It took me about 3 hours to get into this. Ethan, compliment me.
You look great, and the hair looks fantastic.
I know, this is my new short hair.
Yeah, is that a new wig?
Yes, it's a new wig. I'm definitely not talented enough to cut the long one I have. I'm honestly, like, it's a miracle this one looks presentable. I spent hours last night
it's got a good Jackie Kennedy vibe, and with the purple dress as well. I think that's what you're giving off right now.
And you're green, so we are coordinated.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, so the reason Barb Hardly is my drag queen name, which listeners, I think you'll know the reference. Barb Hardly, Bob Newhart show, of course. And since Barb is a sitcom queen, that's the vibe. She is the background character in those Mary Tyler Moore episodes. She's at the party, but she has no lines. I feel like there is a synergy to the podcast and my newfound, like, sincere passion for drag.
I'd say there's a direct, like, A to B connection between Barb Hardly and your love of sitcoms starring and guest starring people very much like Barb Hardly.
Yeah.
Now, before we started recording, we said, this is still the podcast that's presented by Brett White, but you are Barb Hardly. So I feel more comfortable calling you Barb right now.
Oh, really?
I do. Yeah.
Oh, wow.
I feel more comfortable with that.
I mean, like, again, I'm a new drag queen, so I'm like figuring all this stuff out. I mean, because on Drag Race, when they go on, we know none of their boy names or they're out of drag names.
Yeah. Well, you said we could discuss this, and I'm kind of saying,
yes, I want to.
Let's just
also, because listeners, it's been a while.
Your mileage may vary with different guests. You might have someone says, you know what, I'm going to go the opposite direction. But
I mean, I guess it does make sense since I am in drag. I am she, her, Barb, etc. Like,
I'm respecting the character.
Wow.
That's who I'm talking to.
Listeners, you're learning a lot. Also, Barb talks in a Southern accent, and I'm trying to figure out how much of that, if it comes out, it comes out. I don't know. But yeah, I mean, this is a development. So what I was going to say is there's video component now, listeners. I'm recording video of this because your girl spent hours putting on makeup and a whole lot of body. I am wearing a corset and at least 3 pairs of pantyhose right now. So, and you can't even see that.
I can't even see the legs.
I'm standing. So if we are doing this, let me scoot my chair back. So this will be part of the video. See, look at the body. Ethan, can you actually tell that I have a body here?
Yes, I can't tell about the pantyhose though.
No,
the dress is too long.
Wait.
Oh, there you go.
Oh, they're very high heels. Okay, we're good. So so this is why you need to go to Instagram and clock all the videos, which will be going up, I honestly, all over the place. I have too many Instagram accounts. Barb Hardly, Must Have Seen TV, Brett White. I don't know. I need synergy. So we'll figure that out. So just go on Instagram, you'll see video. um, oh, yes. So thank you so much for being on for this experimental return.
Oh, this is great. I mean, we get to talk about, I mean, it's great to see you because like we now live in different parts of the state. So we don't get to see each other as much as we'd like, as much as I'd like to.
Where did you live when we last did? Because the last episode we did was The Ghost of Mr. Chicken. What is that show called?
No,
My Favorite Martian.
We did My Favorite Martian. I was living here in Westchester.
Okay.
I recorded this sitting on the floor of my den because that's the only way we could have gotten a microphone on a table in front of a TV.
Well, and now we're in your home office. I'm in my home office. We've got, synergy going here. And I'm trying to think if anything else has gone on. Gone on. I mean, I think
the pandemic has gone on. It continues to go on.
And real talk, I mean, that is also why your girl is now a drag queen.
Hey,
is because
pandemic changed everybody.
Yes. It is incredibly so. Actually, I will actually give the real reason why I'm a drag queen. I will talk about this. It's because I think it's very important. I for my work I cover drag race. This is Brett talking now because you get to hear my normal voice. This is so weird. For work I cover drag race, and I have for 5 years, and I have never once thought about doing drag or becoming a drag queen or doing anything because I consider my masculine presentation, it is drag. Anytime you are putting on clothes that will then be seen by other, Ethan, you're in drag now because I'm looking at you. You made choices to put all of that on, and that is how you want to be perceived. It is a performance of a masculinity that you're comfortable with and that you want to project. That's what drag is, people. It is expressing gender through performance. And so when I put on a suit, that is also drag, and I've always considered that my drag. Gomez Adams is my male drag identity, basically. And then I went to Palm Springs, which just sounds so great. I went to Palm Springs and came back a drag queen. While we were in Palm Springs on vacation, this was Pride June. So drag queens were under attack, are still under attack by Republicans and conservatives who think that we are like transgender strippers or something. Like that's what they want to call us. Like they think that it's all sexual, that it's all etc. And Proud Boys were crashing drag queen story hours at libraries, and all of that was happening. We go to Palm Springs, we're there for a week, it is lovely, and then on the Friday we're in Palm Springs, Roe v. Wade is overturned. That was in the morning, and it felt so like that. We found that out like 9 a.m. Like that was an early morning. Because I was in LA, so it was 3 hours earlier. We get in the pool, and I just blurt out to my two friends, I'm going to start doing drag when I get home. And it felt like this cosmic push because it felt very YOLO. It felt very like, my marriage is going to probably be stricken down in the next 5 years. I'm kind of under no delusions that that's not going to happen in a way. And I think that like sobering, admitting that and recognizing that is the only way I can fight it and like deal with it instead of like being in denial and then getting crushed. So I'll probably be a single lady at some point. Fuck that. It's not true.
That's one of those weird little like, didn't think that one was gonna come up, but on a technicality, yes.
Yeah. So that's and then I felt this urge because I'm a cisgender gay. I'm a cisgender white gay man. So in the terms of like the queer community, I have the most power. Because again, like I present as masculine. I think that people don't clock me as a homosexual. He said, looking like this.
There's a very thin line between homosexual and very Southern.
Yeah. So, so it kind of came down to like, I don't want to sit on the sidelines anymore. And if all of my queer siblings are getting attacked for wearing a dress and a wig and makeup, then I want to put myself on the line. And I want every Southern person I know. I want all my Southern family, everyone from Tennessee. When I make my profile photo on Facebook, me in drag, which it has been multiple times over the past month, I want them to reckon with, oh my God, I know a drag queen now. Oh my God. I know a drag queen. It's Brett. Brett's a drag queen. Oh my God. Like, I want them to, I don't know. I want to be the face of drag for all these people who are ignorant and don't know what drag
Yeah.
is. And and it's liberating. Like, it has changed my entire like perspective on so much stuff. It is becoming another person who is also more you than you normally are is a wild feeling.
And you feel good, and you feel good about it.
Yeah.
It's something too that you can keep, you're continuing adding to by finding more accessories, finding more wigs, finding more
That's the
dresses.
thing.
It's expensive.
It's expensive, yeah. But it is like it is also like, I mean, the world is going to hell. And instead of scrolling through Twitter, I'm now like searching for sequin gowns on Amazon, which is better than scrolling through Twitter.
That sends you. It makes you feel good.
Yeah, so
we're all coping with the collapse of society in our own
different
ways.
And I will also say this. I have never in my life felt pretty before. Ethan, you came. So my birthday happened a week after I decided to become a drag queen, and I decided to do a drag show in my apartment, invite my closest friends over to just watch me put on dresses all night. And I have never felt pretty before. And there is something wild about feeling pretty. Ethan, have you ever felt pretty or beautiful?
No,
See?
I have bad self-esteem.
Exactly. Yeah, you should. That came out very strange.
You should have bad self-esteem.
But like when I did my makeup the second time and I took photos, and drag makeup is more like stage makeup, so it looks better on camera and from far away than it does up close. So I was like, I look horrible. And then I looked at the photos, no filter, and I was like, I'm pretty. Holy shit. I felt pretty for the first time, dainty and pretty, and like, and those are feelings that I've never felt. And I think that January 6th wouldn't have happened if more men allowed themselves to feel pretty once.
That's true.
If you would be okay with getting in touch with this side of yourself.
And that, to jump on that weirdly, I'm going through a kind of a self-esteem crisis where I'm finally seeing a therapist that I need to work on my own self-worth and self-value and self-love that is not defined by acceptance and validation and appreciation by other people. Yes. Granted, all of my teens and my 20s were look at me, give me attention because I don't like myself. And now I don't really have those outlets as much. Right. It's just kind of turning inwards. It's not a good feeling. It's not good for anybody. So that's my quest, is to find ways to figure myself out, that I like myself. Now, the ways that I'm doing it, I don't think are probably the most healthy. Just buying a lot of S.J. Perlman books and comic books and ridiculous, just like things that I find and being like, oh, this is part of my personality. But I hear what you're saying about like, there is a crisis of everybody feeling just very bad about themselves. There's numerous reasons why we would, numerous reasons why we do. And I like to think that at somewhere down the road, knowing that I have this goal, knowing that I have this problem that I need to work on, knowing that I am working on it, I hope that somewhere down the line, I'm going to feel good about myself like that. Be like, you know what? I'm a valuable person, not for something that I did, like an accomplishment, or because I am a people pleaser and I'm just trying to, get on everyone's good side. I just want to like me for me.
Yes, I mean,
tough times.
No, I mean, Ethan, hey, let's get serious. I've known you since 2007.
2007.
You're my best friend. You're one of my like handful of best friends, and you are valuable, and you are handsome and funny. And we go together like a bomb. What did I actually have no idea how those lyrics go.
For some reason I got a link to a Spanish language version of the Grease soundtrack, and I was listening to that being like, this is damn good. Everybody's singing their asses off. This is great.
Hell yes.
So now I have a playlist on Spotify of like all my favorite stuff, and there are a couple Spanish Grease tracks on there because you know what? Music's music. I like it.
Yes. Yeah, so that is the status quo that we are going into this new era of must-have seen TV in.
Brett's feeling good about himself. Ethan's not.
It's horrible. Where I will my plan right now is for us to do this every Wednesday, and I'm going to get in drag every Wednesday, and we're going to do a video, and like we'll explore this. Is the podcast hosted by Barb now? Listeners, what? Well, actually, I don't know if I want to know what the listeners think. Yes, please.
I'm saying Barb.
Yeah. So let's you want to jump into what we're doing today?
Sure.
This week, ooh lordy, we're traveling to January 2nd, 1953. The Bad and the Beautiful rule the box office. I saw Mommy Kissing Santa Claus by Jimmy Boyd top the charts, and NBC aired the Life of Riley episode Babs' School Election. Ethan, you must have seen Babs' School Election before today.
I have not. Well, I saw it twice
for the episode.
For the episode, I saw it a couple of maybe 2 months ago when we were originally planning to do this, and I'm like, okay, this is straight up American sitcom 1950, no frills.
This is what it was before Lucy changed everything. Like this is,
Life of Riley was a vehicle for one man, and that man was William Bendix, who basically is Ben Grimm as the Thing if he lived in suburbia, wasn't covered in rocks, and had a family.
Well, he even says "what a revolt and development," which is a Thing catchphrase, right?
Which he pulled from.
Yes,
which they pulled from Life of Riley.
He looks like he also looks a bit like Lionel Stander Max from Heart to Heart. So
yes, he does. You are right. You are right.
But so it was a radio show first in the 40s.
So I can give you a little bit of the background on that. This was a hit radio show that lasted. I pulled it up. The radio show went from 1944 to 1951. So
that's
however many that is, that's a ton of shows.
That's probably like 500. That's probably a bajillion episodes back then.
Yeah,
they didn't have anything else to do except make episodes.
Yeah. Well, here's the catch too.
And kick cans down the street.
Well, initially, Groucho Marx was approached. Say, would you like to do Life of Riley? It's the story of a lovable but inept dad and the family that supports him. And Groucho was like, no, it's pretty much a straight role. It's not a Groucho role. So they looked for someone else, and they found William Bendix. He hadn't done a lot. He'd done a little bit of stuff. And so he got on the radio show, 1944 to 1951. He starred in the film version of Life of Riley in 1949. But then they're like, we want to do a TV show of Life of Riley. And Bendix is like, I've got all these film commitments, including the movie version of Life of Riley, which I'm happy to do.
Don't you know about? Yeah. Like,
so he's like, I have too many things to do. So he's, some of his film credits include Alfred Hitchcock's Lifeboat.
Okay.
Connecticut Yankee and King Arthur's Court, starring Bing Crosby, which is like my third favorite movie. It's just fun, pleasant stuff. And his big starring role in the Babe Ruth story, considered one of
as an umpire. What if he didn't play Babe Ruth? Like, what's?
I wouldn't have mentioned it. But he played Babe Ruth in what is considered like the worst sports movie ever made, and one of the worst movies ever made.
Oh, I need to see it.
I'm really interested to see. This is the one where he visits the kid in the hospital, and they're like, "Can you hit a home run for me, babe?"
Oh, like on Seinfeld.
You at the bottom of the like that's the whole thing. Like he picks up where it's going to be and what inning, and like there's also a scene where a kid on crutches sees him playing baseball, and he throws the crutches away. Like it's just
Babe Ruth, Jesus,
1950s hero worship. So he can't do the TV show. So who do they get? Jackie Gleason. Before the Honeymooners.
Wild.
They get Jackie Gleason. He had been doing he was like a sketch comedy player. So they have like, the Frank Sinatra show, and he'd be like a regular player on that. There was Cavalcade of Stars. That was he was on like
so many
dozens
stars.
of episodes, including Jack Gleason. So they're like, this will be a big, starring TV break for you. They get through 26 episodes. Fans recognize he's not as good as William Bendix. No one's really interested. they hold off for I think 2 years, and they get Bendix back
Oh, good.
to do the live show. They also do a radio version of the movie that he was in. But so Life of Riley lasted, most people have not heard of the show. It lasted 219 episodes from 1953 to 1958.
So when you say Life of Riley, to me, I think of Charles Nelson Riley's one-man show that he did on Off Broadway or whatever that I have on Blu-ray that is very good. But like that is Life of Riley that I know about. Well, and then also I think isn't it like a catchphrase, like a turn of phrase, like you're living the life of Riley? What is that?
Yeah, it's just a life of ease, a life of like if someone wins the lottery and doesn't have to work, they can say, "Oh, he's living the life of Riley. He's just doesn't have to worry about anything."
Language is weird.
Yeah, especially like language that becomes sitcoms. There was also another Life of Riley series that had nothing to do with the characters. Very forgettable. It was the Life of Filio Farnsworth or something like that. But it's like Life of Riley was big. Radio show for like 10 years.
Coming back.
Movies.
Like that's wild.
2 TV shows. They even had a comic book. There was an issue of like Dell that was like, and so yeah.
I did buy so also in the interim, listeners, I bought an issue of Hogan's Heroes. I bought a Get Smart, Lucy Show, and Hogan's Heroes comics, and they're over there somewhere.
We got to find the I'm Dickens, He's Fenster comics.
I didn't buy one. No, because I think they're kind of expensive, weirdly.
Some of those like old ones are kind of expensive. Yeah, I'm kind of surprised at some of those prices. So that's William Bendix. William Bendix did all this. He was off TV for a while. They tried to do a backdoor pilot in Mr. Ed starring him. That didn't work.
What was he? What was like?
There was an episode. It was like Pine Brook Lodge or something like that, where they all go on vacation to this little cabin in the woods, this little like hotel in the woods, and William Bendix is the proprietor, and he's goofy or whatever, and they wanted it to be a spinoff being about this Pine Brook Lodge. I think it's called Pine Brook Lodge. I forget. Love. But it was just one of those that, was nice enough, but didn't go anywhere.
We should do a month of backdoor pilots.
Oh, that'd be fantastic.
Those are wild. The Empty Nest one on Golden Girls, that's wild. Like this is, it also blows my mind to think, because we're going to get into it, but what's his name? Something Riley? Chester Riley?
Chester Riley. Riley.
Oh, wow. I was guessing with Chester and I got that
Chester.
Right. This must be subliminal.
I had to double check it.
It seems like it has to be a William Bendix character. Yeah. Otherwise, why is it? It's almost as like if Dick Van Dyke left the Dick Van Dyke Show and they got Jackie Gleason. Because like it doesn't Chester Riley, there's not really a definable characteristic other than he's William Bendix.
And he's got a Brooklyn accent.
Yeah. So like
that's that's the thing, we gotta fix up this. The whole point of the show was he had the best of intentions and he screwed things up and he dropped the ball and his friends came and helped him out and his family always forgave him when he just messed things up. That was the whole thing. Well-meaning, but inept, like the Democrats.
Oh God. Well, this week on Must Have Seen TV, we're talking about the Life of Riley episode, Babs' School Election. It is the first episode of season 1. So we're dealing with a series premiere here. Except not, because it was on for like 8 years on the radio. And it was written by Nathaniel Curtis and directed by Abby Berlin, who is a man. Here's how Tubi describes the episode. Riley overreacts when faced with surgery. Ethan, how well does that describe the episode?
Not at all. I think you're reading the wrong. You're reading the wrong.
Like that is the one. There's only so whoever's doing the copy edited on Tubi doesn't understand. Got that wrong.
Tubi, by the way, only has 2 episodes of the William Bendix run and the entire 26 episodes of the Jackie Gleason run.
What's going on with that William Bendix estate?
That's a good question.
Got that ironclad.
I hope those episodes like still exist. They're not like vanished or anything.
Yeah, you got the kinescopes getting trashed.
I don't know. It's before the honeymooners.
When I saw Abby Berlin, I was like, oh my God, a woman directing a TV show at this time, because that was rare. Except for Hayden Rourke connection. Oh my God, what was the name of this? Mr. Adams and Eve was the first sitcom Hayden was ever on, and it was played by Howard Duff and Ida Lupino. Ida Lupino being a notable old Hollywood movie director, like one of the only women to direct movies. And so Hayden played their manager, and they basically like played themselves as like an acting couple, and Hayden was their manager. Yeah, so I was like, oh my God, Abby Berlin, a woman. No, it's a man. Abby's a man's name back then.
You know what? That's life. Sometimes that
good
happens.
For him.
Good
or
for
I
him.
mean, I don't know his gender expression. I'm a drag queen here, assigning strict gender assignations to Abby Berlin.
I'm just happy that someone was able to get a job in Hollywood and support, themselves and maybe a family. It's hard out there.
If you were an intern at Tubi, and you're a 19-year-old intern at Tubi, and you are tasked with writing synopses for The Life of Riley on the streaming service, and you're doing this for college credit and like a little bit of money, like minimum wage, what do you write? Do you write Riley overreactive facial surgery?
No, I would say Riley. I had this. Riley over. No, it's something like Riley overreacts when helping Babs win the student election.
Babs is his eldest daughter. He only has 2 kids, and there's a daughter and a son.
Babs and Junior.
Oh, and what is her name? Her name is like Lurleen, the actress that plays Babs. Like her name is something wild. Look that up now. So listeners, here's my secret shame is that the way my schedule played out today, I was not able to take notes on this episode. I watched it about 4 or 5 times while I was getting into drag. So I tried.
So I can probably start it off. It starts off with William Bendix in the kitchen with the family giving a very stirring motivational election speech.
It weirdly starts off with a narrator explaining what elections are.
Oh, it does.
Like, what is that? Like,
and it has a lot of stock footage of people going to ballots.
Yes.
And people giving speeches.
And then they're like, and now our like local like hardworking friend is whatever.
One thing I liked about it too is that they introduced the cast. Like it's a play. Like you're reading. That's what
like old sitcoms used to be like. I mean, I Love Lucy starts with like Lucille Ball, Desi Arnaz, with like they
with William Bendix as Chester A. Riley.
Yeah, that sounds like a president. Oh, I guess Chester A. Arthur.
The name you were looking for is Lugene Sanders as Babs Riley.
Lugene.
She's still alive.
Oh wow!
She was born I believe she was born in 1934. She is still alive.
So yeah, she is running for class president of her college.
Freshman class president.
So the whole notion of college. Okay, first of all, it is wild that they started the show with the daughter being in college already.
Yeah.
Because that's usually
She looks mid-20s.
You could have told me. Oh, yes. Really? Because I was like, you could have told me she was. Well, I also was putting on makeup, so maybe I didn't really get a good look at her face. Because I was like, she looks 16.
I think Junior looks pretty young, and over the course of the show, like he adds 5 years, he adds like a foot and a half.
Yeah,
like there's some pictures of the later episodes where like, oh, they're all the same height.
So she's trying to become a class president of her freshman year of college, because I guess like she's an overachiever, because like who cares in college, who cares, but I guess they cared then.
One of the issues that she was running into was that her opponent Helen Bidwell is very popular,
and her dad owns a bank, right, and could give her money. Was he dipping into other people's savings accounts to give because he was like, whatever her dad's doing, I'll do it too. And she's like, well, you gave her $100, and it's like, oh, no way.
Well, I can't give you $100. But what was weird to me was that an incoming freshman is popular enough to swing a vote. Like, I was a freshman. I didn't know anybody. Well, I was not a popular person. No one was popular. You're still getting to know everybody. It's a college campus.
If they went to like the same high school, like if it was like I went to MTSU, and a lot of my high school friends went to MTSU, well, high school acquaintances and friends went to MTSU. So maybe it's like residual leftovers from
small town kind of living.
Yeah. So but he wants to help her because he's a good dad. That's his whole character game, is he's Mr. A+ dad time.
Yeah, his character game is, I want to be the best dad, the best head husband, best father, and I will go to stupid lengths because I'm a dumb oaf dude, and I will make mistakes, but they're all out of love, and I might be a little forceful, but my heart's in the right place, which I can relate to. I just screw up all the time, but my heart's in the right place.
Well, and this is interrupted because his friend comes to get him for work.
Yeah, his friend Jim Gillis, played by Tom DeAndrea. He was a character. He was an actor from the radio show, so they got him working there as well. Interestingly enough, there were a couple best friends from the series. He couldn't
even keep friends.
There was Jim Gillis, and then there was the grave digger.
What?
There was a grave digger named, I'm trying to find it. His name was Digger something. But the way it played off was Jim Gillis would give bad advice, where Digger would be the one who dug him out of the hole and gave him good advice.
Metaphors.
But the guy who played Digger was blacklisted in the 1950s, so he couldn't do the TV show. So he just had the bad advice of Jim Gillis.
No! And that is the worst thing the blacklist did.
Yeah,
the worst.
Yeah, I'm not familiar with it. I'll take your word on that.
Yeah. But so wait, what is their job? Okay, two questions. What is their job and where do they live? These are the questions that come up during this scene for me.
I did so much background research. I know all this stuff. I don't know where they live, but they were riveters at an airplane company.
Because he's like talking about like, I want to help my daughter. And but he says like, oh, there's this guy I knew, Honest Ed Feeney, and I knew him back in Brooklyn, which infers that like he's out here. He says like he's out here now. And so I'm like, well, where is here? Are they upstate? Are they on Long Island? Are they in
That's a
LA?
good question. I think he's still close. I'm gonna do a quick check and look up Life of Riley and see where it was. You can edit this out.
No, there is no editing on this era of Must Have Seen TV.
We're doing that. We're doing this live.
We're doing it live. No, yeah. So like they're hanging out, just being like boy pals. Not gal pals.
In California. They're in California now. That's where they're supposed to be.
I feel like you can make so much hay out of that.
You could.
Because he's a guy from Brooklyn out in California now. Like, I want to see more fish out of water stuff. I'm sure that is what future episodes are all about.
Fish out of water.
Yeah, which
I'm wondering, where's Digger?
Yeah. Somebody like all
Digger
the fans
didn't make
of
it out
Digger
here.
are like, the entire like grave diggers are like, we're finally seen, we have a character, and then oh no, where's Digger?
Nope.
No. So basically he's like, I want to help out my daughter. And he basically like remembers this shady ass motherfucker, this shady mafioso
dude. Straight up. This is he's like one of those local politicians. He's very slimy. He's one of the, you can tell he called in a lot of favors to get elected. And then when Riley goes over to talk to him, he's like, I never forget a friend. You helped me get elected, but they threw me out because I was corrupt.
Well, so he was impeached because he was collecting the garbage and then selling it back to the city.
I don't know what it was.
Yeah, that's what
scandals were different back then.
Yeah. But so the first thing he says is like, because you helped me. I remember how you helped me out. And it's like, oh my God, what did Chester A. Riley do? Was he a hitman? Because the next thing is like, oh, do you want me to whack this guy? The dad of the competition.
Can I tell you a fun story real quick?
Yes.
My great uncle Dave was one of those tough guys back in Philadelphia in the 1950s and 60s. He was like one of those like district leaders where like he was a private detective, but he also kind of like worked a little bit on the side doing that whole like, hey, you pay me enough money, I'll get all these people to vote for you, I'll get my whole district to vote for you through threats of coercion.
Are we turning into a true crime podcast?
Oh yeah. Just talk about my Uncle Dave.
Yeah. So now we have the crime element. Like Mr. Riley has gone to get some help to like, well, and it starts out with like, so wait, so your daughter's like running for Congress? And he's like, no, president. They're like, it's not an election year. It's like college president. Sure. I'm gonna, and then honestly, Fanny's basically like, Congress, college freshman president, same thing.
I'll rig them all. You give it to me, I'll rig it.
And so the rigging, oh my God, what a plan.
The rigging is, it just shows how flimsy elections were back in the 1950s, where the election is you go to a booth, you show your ID card, you say what major you are, and they give you a ballot. Yeah. So Honest Ed Feeney has a great idea where he gets two of his thugs to dress up like college students.
One of them is played by uncredited Feeney's Big Goon, played by Henry Kalki. Anyway, continue.
He did actually, Henry Kalki, I'm looking, he did 45 episodes of Life of Riley.
Wait, so he's just like every single episode, Riley has a different old mob friend and just like, yeah, I'm just, work's work.
I want to watch more of these episodes. I want to find out if that's true. So he gets these big tough guys, much older than college students, to dress up like college students, which is corduroy jackets, tweed jackets, and a little hat, which I remember is called a dink.
A dink?
A lot of college freshmen would wear it before when they were pledging a fraternity. They'd have to wear this little stupid hat. You can see it in Animal House. They wear the stupid little hats called
There were a lot of stupid little hats back then. Jughead had
the best stupid hat. Jughead's hat was a regular hat with the brim turned inside out.
Yeah.
Which is just ingenious. That's what you did in the Depression. It was great.
So his whole thing is like, go up, get a ballot and then fill it out and just keep doing that. Get back in line.
Yeah, just change your name, change your major.
Criminal mastermind.
Yes. Very low level criminal mastermind. Yeah. They did threaten to kill somebody, but I
would have hated to see their murder plan. Just like, just stab him, throw him in a trunk, put the car in the river.
I'm gonna dress like somebody else. Who? Guy who looks like me, but he doesn't dress like me. Oh, okay.
A mustache. Oh, by the way, listeners, I still have a mustache. I'm a mustache drag queen, but I try to cover it in foundation, like Cesar Romero's Joker. So,
tribute.
Honor your gay history icons. So then the problem comes when Mr. Riley shows up and he's like, I want to know, but he like wants to like get an advance, like he wants a poll basically. He wants like an exit poll or something.
Yeah, so he starts harassing people and he runs into one of the fake students, the shorter of the fake students, who claims he's studying train engineering.
Yeah, I'm an engineer. What trains?
Which is legitimate.
Yeah,
train engineering probably was even a major back then. The giant Henry Kalki also was an astronomy major. I thought that was fun. The only guy who's bigger and oafier than William Bendix is Henry Kalki.
The daughter shows up and she's clocked onto the whole scheme. She's like, I know that guy doesn't go here. She isn't like, that guy is obviously 50 years old. She's just like, I know he doesn't go here. And I think he's gone through the line already.
Yeah, he went through the line several times. So that's how they're getting the votes. Babs is very upset because she wanted to win or lose fair and square. And Riley comes up with my favorite line of the episode, which was, someday you'll have kids of your own. Then you'll know what it's like to be a father.
Yeah. So like in order to make his daughter happy, he busts up the scheme, and he just busted up his scheme. That's the scheme that he hired them to run. And so the goons are like, screw this.
So his wife Peg finds out because Bab tells her. So William Bendix, I just want to keep calling him Bendix. William Bendix.
Yeah, you got to Bendix.
Bendix. He is.
It's a cool name.
Bendix. Brian Michael Bendix.
Brian.
So they all go home. We fast forward. I just want to point out too, this was an episode, maybe it was just because it was the pilot episode, had a lot of locations and a lot of angles on those locations.
Yeah.
Because so far we have seen the kitchen, the exterior of the house in the establishing shot, the bus stop, Ed Feeney's office.
Yes.
The college. We go back to the house. We see the kitchen now from the outside because Riley he's too afraid to go inside. He's standing outside. Later we see three interior rooms of the house. We see the front porch of the house. And at the end we see another location, which this was a big
budget. This was a big budget show. They were like, all of our money is going in to Life of Riley.
219 episodes.
As we now know, like prior awareness is a big important part with IP. So they were like, this is a sure thing. Everyone already knows.
Just as a comparison, 219 episodes versus 145 for Mr. Ed. Versus 139 for I Dream of Jeannie, 64 for Addams Family, 108 for Patty Duke, 105, 204 for Father's Knows Best. I looked at these up. Leave It to Beaver only had 236.
Oh wow! R.I.P. Tony Dow.
Yeah, we're just a couple days out from the death of Tony Dow.
So like he's back and he's like, I'm afraid. He's afraid to go in and like talk to his wife because they're like, hey, if she's holding a towel, you're fine, but if she's holding a frying pan, is this where? So then there's like a whole his son. His son seems kind of like a doofball.
I think he's kind of like a doofball hustler.
Okay.
Where Riley's like, oh, you got to go inside and make me a sandwich or something. I'm so happy. And the kid's like, I can feed you these old potato peels, which I'm supposed to throw away. And he's like, I don't want to eat the potato peels. And the kid's like, you're not going to eat anything else if I have anything to say about it. So he doesn't want to eat the potato peels.
But oh my God, so
he
the scene ends with him getting a sandwich on the head, right?
Yeah, because he bribes Junior with 50 cents. Like I said, he's a hustler. Mm-hmm. 50 cents to make him a sandwich. The mom, Peg, sees Junior talking through the window at someone, says, what are you talking to? And Riley's like, say it's the cat. And he's like, we don't have a cat. Or like
she's like, there's no cat in this neighborhood. And then meow.
And he gets the sandwich thrown on him. And that's the end of the scene.
But then then his friend Gillis, I do wonder what kind of advice Digger would have given him, because Gillis is like, well, you need to
any of this.
Yeah, like you need to promise the people something. Like you can't just ask for votes. You have to bribe them. You have to so that's his next big idea.
And another location. They were at the airplane.
Oh yeah.
Plant.
Jeez,
so many locations.
Oh, and there's also a location at the college where he's like talking to the football player or something.
Yeah,
like a field.
So the promise is, and this is, as a father, you should never do this. If you vote for my daughter, you can go to the prom with her.
Oh, so two things. He says the promenade, which I'm like, oh, that's what prom is short for. Okay,
oh yeah,
okay,
promenade.
And second, college prom. Excuse me. Oh, excuse me. Like
Barb, I gotta ask, what kind of events did you have at your college?
Well, back when I went to college in Tuscaloosa, I was there undercover though, because Rocky Top I'll always be. So I was mostly there as an espionage to try and ruin their college football team. So that's mostly what I did, hiding in lockers, putting itching powder in jock straps, getting to the little undercarriage area of buses and then waking up who knows where, and then slashing the tires and then realizing, oh God, how am I going to get home? Wait, what was the question again? I didn't go to any dances.
Okay, that's the thing. You didn't go to any dances.
No, and Brett didn't either, because who goes to a dance in college?
I know we had a Halloween kind of thing where there was a DJ and everyone dressed up, so people danced at that.
Wow.
We also had Skalloween, where ska bands played. We got Big D and the Kids Table. Who else? Oh, some other good. And there was a local ska band called 8 Ounce Joe that played all of our events. 8 Ounce Joe from I forget, just like the neighboring town over. So this little like hometown ska band.
Well, what's funny is like he goes up to the first kid and they're like, "Do you have a date for prom?" He's like, "No." Oh God, I just dropped my phone. I can guarantee you like a date with the hottest girl or something. It is like, who? And it's like, the girl Babs. I want you to vote for her. And his point of assurance is like, no, I'm her dad. Obviously, like I'm not lying.
I've got the connections because I'm her dad.
Yeah, which is, again, like you said, a weird thing for a father to do. He's essentially pimping her out. Is that a horrible way to put it?
It's a very accurate, horrible but accurate way. But remember, he's really dumb. He's really dumb. He's so dumb. He's just so dumb. His heart's in the right place, but the follow through. So then he decides to photocopy this tactic by going up to various other people on campus and saying, "Hey, you can date my daughter," which was me actually just doing a Danny DeVito voice instead of a William Bendix voice.
Oh, I would like a 1950s It's Always Sunny where William Bendix is playing.
The gang gets Babs elected.
The gang gets Babs elected. So he does this like multiple people because he's like, I've got to like take into account the independent vote. I've got like, he's crunching numbers. We say he's stupid, but he's a pollster.
And he thinks he has an ace in the hole by not giving out his address or phone number.
Yeah, they're like, because he's like, well, you know, he says, yeah, Babs will call you, instead of like having them come over. And he's like, smart, genius,
so good at this. This plan is brilliant.
The night of the prom comes.
Babs wasn't going to go because she was feeling a little shy that her dad tried to rig the election. He got found out.
She is convinced, I've lost. It's over. I'm a freshman. Why am I even going to college anymore? I'm going to forget my career. I'm just going to sulk in my bedroom. Babs is annoying. Her scream, she screams and cries a lot in this episode, and even like Junior makes fun of her because the mom's like, why don't you go like try and cheer her up, and he's like, no, she just tells me to go away. Very.
And what I liked about her too is that they got in Lugene Sanders as Babs, they got someone who could feasibly be the daughter of the actress who plays Peg, Marjorie Reynolds.
Oh yeah.
They look very, very similar. So I think that was a very good casting choice. Marjorie Reynolds had been doing acting since she was 5. If you check out her IMDb credits, it goes on forever, because she just did like, she'd do like 7 movies a year as just like a bit studio player.
Lugene just did this basically.
Lugene, well, she's good. She does, you know, she does very
140 episodes, you know, she's got it made. So yeah, now, but like, they're like, okay, well, I'm gonna go to prom with George. Like, it's gonna be nice. It's gonna be cute.
George is kind of her steady, her regular boyfriend.
Yeah. Well, and then so this is when Riley comes home, and he's like, "You won." I guess because he like hung around the college, just like, I gotta wait for the election results to pop up. And he tells him like, "You won by a landslide, 1 vote, plurality."
So she's very happy. She's feeling pretty good. And then the doorbell rings.
Dun dun dun, because this is 1952 or whatever, and Chester A. Riley forgot about a newfangled invention called the telephone book.
because all of these folks who were promised a free promenade with Babs all got the same idea, looking them up in the phone book,
Yeah.
finding, just showing up.
So they're like, she never called, so we just, which, you want to go get her in a man. You want to go get her in a man. You want a man that even when you don't call them, they'll still show up. They'll stalk you and come out of nowhere and knock. Yeah, that's what I want. All of the boys keep coming for me.
Good-natured 50s stalking.
Yeah, and then they just keep coming, just a lot. I mean, he got enough votes for her to win the election. So
and there's a lot. So they're putting the guys in the downstairs. They're putting them in the bedroom. They're putting them in the bathroom.
There's a little fun moment of like teamwork between Junior and Riley, where it's like, you gotta, no, I'm all full over here. You're like, the bedroom's full.
They had a fun exchange too, where he looks out the window, goes, "Oh, now we got 8 of them," and Junior goes, "I'm counting 11."
Yeah.
Which is a goofy little joke.
So while Babs is getting ready, she's like, what, she like needs her watch or something, or her ring, or she's like forgets something. She's like, oh, it's in the bathroom.
Her watch is in the bathroom.
And so she opens the door. Oh boy, can you imagine? She opens the door. She's like, men. I mean, I remember I would love to open the door and see just a bunch of men in my bathroom.
They're all gentlemen because they all stand up and adjust their ties. Hello, ma'am.
Man, the 50s were different.
The 50s were something else. What can I say?
And so she's, of course, starts screaming at the top of her lungs, because that's like her go-to move, is just to be in hysterics. She finds out what happened, and she's like, what the fuck?
And Riley has to come clean. And there's the guys all start fighting.
Yes, they all start fighting because they all want to go with her. And she's like, F no, I got my dude here. I'm already booed up and we're going to the prom. So peace out. Deuces, you jerks. That's the kind of Babs I want to see. I want to see that Babs.
So in the end, she wins the election, goes to the promenade with the guy that she likes, and I was gonna say no harm, no foul, but the riot, the fight in the living room actually destroys all the furniture.
Yes, and well, so just before we get to the little stinger coda, I do want to know, why is there no talk of Babs giving up her rigged win? Is she really gonna assume office after it is so clear that there was election tampering?
Clear election tampering.
Yes, admitted.
But, and I hate to be the devil's advocate, but it was made clear in the first scene that her rival, Helen, was taking the boys, taking the girls out to lunch and giving the boys key rings. So there was a little quid pro quo on both sides of the election. It was a dirty college election.
Nowadays, you give me a key ring and I'm like, God, okay, just toss it in the pile of other key rings.
Yeah.
Back then,
like enamel pins. You know, you can get enamel pins everywhere now.
Or okay, if the things that networks and streaming services love to send press are mugs, heated mugs, blankets. So I have a pile of blankets. It's a lot. So the solution is Chester is like, oh hey Peg, like they go to a movie, they're like, oh, we're gonna go out on a date. But he's also got to buy 37 other tickets for the boys, because what else are they going to do? He's got to basically stop the riot, and he bribes them with going to see a movie.
Yeah. After admitting that fixing the entire living room is going to cost $400 that they do not have. And he offers to glue some of the furniture together because he's a helpful oaf.
I mean, and I just moved, so I understand the plight. This is a new home office I'm coming to y'all from. A lot of changes in our lives since last we talked.
I'm at a new job. I'm no longer working in Boston.
See?
Yeah, things change. My cat doesn't have ringworm anymore.
Hey!
Good times.
We have a dining room table.
Holy shit.
This is the first dining room table I have ever owned. I am 38 years old. But that is
Very nice.
New York City for you. Dining room tables are a luxury, honey.
Dining rooms are a luxury.
Yeah, we actually have dining room space, so love it.
That's wild. Barb's moving on up.
Barb's moving up in the world. So yeah, that is the life of Riley.
Riley, starring William Bendix.
William Bendix. Ethan, are you ready for some must-have facts?
Oh yeah, give them.
You're probably actually going to have a lot more must-have facts than I do, or you've been delivering them all episode long. But so Life of Riley was a hit, which makes sense because it was on the radio forever, and people were like, "Oh my god, it's a TV show. We got to make sure we're home."
Starring the original Riley.
The original cast. Oh god, set the TiVo. What, TiVo doesn't exist? Oh boy. It was number 16 for the season. I had a 37.4 rating, which is crazy. And but Lucy had like a 60 something. So like, you know, Lucy was the number one show. Do you want to know what the top 5 shows were for the season?
Yeah, were they all Life of Riley?
No, it was number
Just
16.
Different time slots.
So number 5 was the Texaco Star Theater. Number 4 was Dragnet. Which, how much Dragnet have you watched?
0.
Really?
0. I've never seen a Dragnet. The closest I've ever seen was they took a still shot of just a scene from it that took place at a newsstand, and someone noticed that Amazing Fantasy 15 was multiple copies. That's just what the set dressing was. Multiple copies of the first appearance of Spider-Man appear in the background of this one shot of Dragnet.
Chuck them. Toss them in the trash. We got to turn this set over. Leave it to Beaver's coming in. No, it'd be like his girlfriend. No, oh god, December Bride. So yeah, no, I watched a lot of Dragnet because it was one of the shows that was on Nick at Night when I was a kid. So I've seen a lot of Dragnet. Number 3 was Arthur Godfrey and His Friends. And number 2 was Arthur Godfrey's Talent Scouts. We've got to talk about Arthur Godfrey's monopoly on entertainment in 1952.
I don't know enough about him. I just remember didn't he play a ukulele? Wasn't that his shtick?
I mean, Tiny Tim. I don't know. And then the number 1 show was, of course, I Love Lucy. So I Love Lucy's already there. It is defining the game, while shows like Life of Riley are playing within the game. And Lucy is taking things up a notch. Because if you'll notice, like, this was not shot. It was not a 3 camera. I don't think it was in front of an audience. It wasn't in front of an audience because there were too many sets.
And there were too many times when I noticed that the audio just kind of dropped out. There were a couple times where I noticed that. And it was also, I noticed that with the laugh track, it just kept going through every scene. So you'd hear ha 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 ha, and then you'd go like open the door and you hear like
that 70s show. So the NBC Friday night lineup. Oh boy. So it is Friday night. You're not going anywhere because where is there to go in 1952? You're going to a sock hop?
Malt shop?
Malt shop? I would love
to go to a malt shop.
Again, I would love to go anywhere because your girl ain't going in many places still.
Yeah, I know that.
I don't know. NBC Friday night's lineup is the RCA Victor Show starring Dennis Day. A catch, I don't know. And then The Life of Riley. And then we got The Big Story. Then The Aldrich Family. And then Gillette's Cavalcade of Sports. So there's a lineup of television that I know nothing about.
So is the only NBC sitcom on Friday nights Life of Riley?
Yeah, or I mean, I don't know what The Big Story, I think, was news in the Aldrich family. I don't know what that is.
That's a good question. I mean, Aldrich.
But no, like honestly, like the vibe of like themed nights of television I don't think really became a thing until like the Saturday night CBS Mary, Bob, MASH, etc. night. Because like Odd Couple and Brady Bunch aired back to back, which I cannot think of 2 more diametrically opposed shows.
I'm looking up Aldrich Family. I'm not finding it.
Big hit.
Yeah,
doesn't have the cultural cachet of a Life of Riley,
which you can find 2 episodes of on TV. 219. That just is.
You know, there's probably like Mike and Joel with MST3K. There's like, are you a Jackie or are you a William? Are you a Gleason or a Bendix? I'm a Gleason. I gotta say, you know, but the writing got tighter. This was
how many years before it was just 4 years before the Honeymooners.
Wow.
So he was still like struggling Jackie Gleason,
Thought
probably
it was his break.
doing some music, doing some, supporting roles and on like sketch comedy shows and other shows. But yeah,
And was it his big break?
it was not.
Well,
People liked what people were like, you're not William Bendix.
people wanted to pick up what Bendix was putting down.
Bendix ended up in 1964. He sold a pilot with him and Martha Ray called Bill and Martha, where they were there were a butler and a maid who inherit a hotel, and they wanted to turn it into a big hotel and all that stuff. But right before they start shooting, they're shut down because the production company is like, William Bendix's health is not good.
Oh no.
Bendix is like, screw you guys, and sues them for $2.7 million, which is settled out of court. He sues them in the fall and dies of stomach cancer in December.
They were right.
They were right.
Oh no.
I guess they won he got some money out of the lawsuit, but they were right. He passed away in 1964.
Oh,
the first place that I ever saw him was I was home by myself in high school, and I'm flipping through the channels, and I see the Technicolor wonder that is Bing Crosby's Connecticut Yankee in King Arthur's Court. And his sidekick is Sir Sagamore, aka Saggy, played by William Bendix in a Prince Valiant wig.
Oh Lord. No one looks good. Robert Wagner doesn't even look good in a Prince Valiant wig because he was Prince Valiant. Looks very bad.
And the movie itself is just a very fun, innocuous Bing Crosby bums around Camelot and wreaks a little havoc, and that's that. But William Bendix is this weird character who doesn't act all that well. So I'm like looking him up, and he's like, oh, his big thing was this Life of Riley show.
And also being the thing.
And being the real life thing.
Yeah. On IMDb, 25 Riley heads gave this a 6.5 out of 10. Is that high, low, right on the money? What would you give it?
I would give it a 7.
Okay.
Just because of all the sets. All the locations.
Yes, production design work.
You did a great job with that house.
No, I don't know. I mean, I guess 6.5 sounds right to me. Again, it's hard to get me to give a shit about 50 sitcoms unless it's I Love Lucy. But there were some nice little chuckles in this. Some nice little good zingers. The film quality was good. Because usually with those 50 sitcoms, I'm like, kinescope horrible,
yeah,
the quality ain't good because Lucy's the one that pioneered shooting on film. And so yeah, it was fine. 6.5 is a nice. And
I don't know if any more exist. I don't know if 219 episodes. I'm sure some of them are
it has
around.
To be in the public domain.
Oh yeah.
So who had the must-see performance?
Oh, it's Riley. It's Bendix.
Yeah,
Bendix. He does takes to the camera.
It breaks the fourth wall
all the time. It's a joy.
It's wild. I agree. And lastly, must other people see this episode?
Yes, I think that you have to see it to believe it. If we're saying he's Ben Grimm, the thing, he's got a family, definitely. He's a big oafy dude, that should spark your curiosity to be like, what does an oafy dude look like? First off, just look up a picture of William Bendix and you'd be like, oh, that dude, I know exactly what that dude looks like and sounds like.
If you're so similar to how when we watched Leave It to Beaver and discovered that Wolverine's hair is a jelly roll. Ooh. As sported by Wally on Tony Dow in that episode.
Tony Dow, all right.
We're also discovering the real thing is here in Life of Riley. So I think if you're a Fantastic Four fan and you haven't watched Life of Riley, what are you doing?
Reed, Sue, did you vote for Babs? Johnny.
Yes. So how did this go, Ethan?
I think that the new Barb is excellent, is wonderful.
Well,
Huge fan.
You are basking in her gore. I mean, I honestly keep like catching myself in the mirror and being like, oh my God. Oh,
I was
right
there at the first time that Barb showed up.
Mm-hmm.
Megan helped with the wigs and makeup.
Mm-hmm.
My spouse. She's done a couple episodes of Must Have Seen.
Yeah, Dharma and Greg being one.
And Munsters.
And Munsters, yes.
Munsters. And we all did Batman.
And we all did. Oh, yes. Yeah. So I mean, I am curious to know what I would honestly love it if listeners talk to me about anything.
And so, like, as we've been recording, I've noticed that my camera I don't have any lights on. I'm just using outside light. So I literally look like the Riddler from the Batman movie, where I'm wearing glasses in the dark and a green
with
shirt.
Headphones. Yeah. and I look like Barbara Gordon.
Yeah.
Or something. I don't know.
Barbara Gordon.
Yeah.
She was a librarian.
That is kind of the vibe that I go for. Honestly, when I go on Amazon and I'm looking for dresses, if my reaction is, oh, that's hideous, I buy it.
Now, are you shopping more on eBay or shopping more on Amazon?
I'm an Amazon queen
for clothes.
I'm an Amazon queen.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. I mean, honestly, hey, this dress was like $30. Like, I try not to buy anything over $30 because your girl has a lot of expensive hobbies. And adding this onto it, so I try not to buy expensive stuff. Although I am Halloween and Christmas, we'll see, because I'm like I'm like trying to figure out if I'm going to host my annual Christmas party as Barb. You know,
I would.
Yeah, I mean, it's crazy.
That makes sense.
Yeah, no.
Like, we all want to see that.
Yeah, I know, and I'm really excited to like turn a velvet Christmas gown kind of eleganza. Would be really fun.
Oh my God, Vera Ellen's dress in White Christmas.
Yes. So like I've always wanted I want Bing Crosby's look at the end of White Christmas, but now I'm like, I can also wear the Vera Ellen look.
You can pull off the Vera Ellen.
It's so fun.
The high neck. Oh
yeah. It's
seriously
also
favorite Christmas movie. My favorite, hands down. We watch it every year. Favorite Christmas movie.
Love it. So also like my drag is funny because I really like buying. I also like buying very pretty things and knowing that like it's going on me, and I look like me, and so that's very funny to me.
Do you want to hear a fun little connection?
Yeah.
Marjorie Reynolds, who played the mom, Peg, was in Holiday Inn and sang White Christmas.
Oh.
But her voice was dubbed.
Of course, yeah. Well, so was Vera Ellen's voice.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. She was more of a dancer than a singer anyway.
And
so
what a dancer.
What a dancer.
I should my Christmas party, and I just go through all of Vera Ellen's looks.
Ooh,
every hour
from that
or whatever.
film.
Yeah.
We could do a commentary track of White Christmas where we just watch it, and every now and then we just go, oh, that's nice. Oh, that's cool. That's great.
Oh God, it's gorgeous. No,
he's so great in that.
It is great. I mean, honestly, there's drag in that movie when they do the sisters number, and they do it with no homophobia or like they just do it straight up. They like go out and they wear like, a sash and the bow on their hair, and they do the sisters number, and it isn't like played for like, ooh, like it's so pure and confidently masculine, and it's so great.
If you watch it closely, Bing Crosby breaks up. He literally breaks character, starts laughing, and they did 2 takes, one where he did and one where he didn't, and they're like, no, the one where he broke character is literally the best take. That's the best one. He couldn't keep it together with Danny Kaye on set. And Danny Kaye was, I don't want to keep talking about White Christmas. Danny Kaye was a replacement for Donald O'Connor.
Right. Who was in Double Crossbones with Hayden Rourke.
But he could, yeah, exactly. So Yeah.
But yeah, so I mean, welcome to a new Must Have Seen TV.
Into it.
Thanks again to my co-host Ethan Kaye. I mean, you're around. You're more than a guest at this point. For dropping by and talking about the life of Riley with me. Next time, who knows what we'll be doing? And you'll find out then. Until then, I would love to hear from all of y'all. Follow at Must Haves. So follow at Must Have CV on Twitter and Instagram. I have no idea how active those are going to be. If you want to actually follow at Brett White and at Barb Hardly on those, because that's where I'm actually active, and I'm going to be posting video from this on those, and also the Must Have CV. Follow all three. I'm just going to take over your feeds. Please rate and review the show in Apple Podcasts, which, oh my God, I actually should have. Oh no. This is fun. Oh, I was going to open up the email and see if I had any mail, but whatever, we'll do that next time. Yeah, so follow me on Twitter at Brett White. Read the words that I write at decider.com. Thanks to Acast for hosting this podcast. Thanks to y'all for listening. And you know what? I'll see you next time on Must Have Seen TV. And now we can actually say I'll see you, because there's a video part of this, and I don't know how many minutes are going to be released on the internet, but it exists. Bye, y'all.